topic.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Yes. Hello, hello. How is everyone doing?
Yes, got a few people in the chat right here. We got you prowling in the chat, but we also got Moral Officer Grant
Gran,
always showing up for us right
I
there.
love you, Gran.
Absolutely. And how have you guys been today? How's your guys' day treating you? Well, we start off with you, Snow. How have you been since the last time we saw you?
Well, of course, we had July the 4th, which was a big deal here, and everybody was celebrating, and all the fireworks and everything like that. And I rode in the parade in my fire truck, so I was very excited. Um, I didn't get to drive the fire truck, but I got to ride up front where it was air conditioned, which was quite nice.
Nice.
And I had all my younger recruits on the back, and all my recruits right now, with the exception of one, are girls. They're the ones that were off for the summer, and they ended up working with my daughter, who, of course, is also a firefighter. And before you know it, we're all up there on the fire truck. So I had a whole fire truck full of girls, which made it very exciting for other guys out on the ground. So we actually got some recruits out of that. And so we had a really wonderful time, 4th of July parade. And today I've been actually watching storms. Barely got in here in time because I've actually been watching them fall apart as they come sort of into my county. But if I hop off real quick, it'll be because I have something pop up right over the top of me.
Yeah.
We're just waiting to see what it looks like and how it acts. So I'm here. Yay. And I love everybody. Hi.
There you are. All right. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good myself.
Oh, yeah.
Lot of writing, lots of reading,
Ooh.
lots of research. Working on a radio play I've been working on for over a year now.
I know.
But things go slow because you gotta work around other people's schedules because there's a lot of volunteer work, and you want to respect people's time. But it's finally getting off the ground in a way that I've been waiting for in a while. So hopefully that'll be published definitely before the end of the year. I'm aiming for like October because it's sort of like a little horror radio show would be fun. Absolutely. But how are you doing, Black Knight? How have you been since the last time we seen you?
Well, I kind of I needed some extra rest because I overdid it the past week, and so I usually take Sunday off, and I do nothing. I just rest my mind, rest my brain. And last week I took 2 days. This week I'm planning just for 1 day. The usual stuff as I do in most Tuesdays is like a huge bulk of edits, and maybe a poem. I've not done a poem lately. I tried. I wrote 3 haiku. I'm slowly getting better at it, but the biggest focus of my work is the 8th Star Shatter book. So that's what I'm doing mostly.
Right, just working on the next book. How's that one looking right now?
How's what?
Your latest book. How's progress looking on that one?
Well, I was forced to change some things. I mean, not actually rewrite them, but rearrange some scenes for the new chapters, which took a lot of time, a lot of extra time.
Right.
And then, of course, the edits, because it was like the draft notes and stuff was written over 16, maybe 17 years ago, some of them. So it's like really old and needs refurbishment. So that's partially, not partially, but like this is most of the slowing down because I need to fix like a lot of mistakes and typos and structures, like sentence structuring, flipped sentence structuring, etc., etc. So
The editing.
yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know that. I try to do as many edit passes for a short story as I can before releasing it. And it can be very time consuming, that's for sure. We also got Wrangler joining us.
Wrangler.
A whole lot of hola there in the chat. Hello, friends. And yes, more Officer Grant, I got the new episode out for Olton Shadows, my cyberpunk vampire story, released earlier today. You can download a free PDF and a free EPUB if that's your fancy, or just read it on the Substack. So that's fun. That's fun. I always like just trying to keep up with the weekly releases. But this 8th story, it's still in the writing process, and I got about 2 weeks before it's going live. So I'm rushing on that one. But I know what the ending's supposed to look like. It's going to be a bit of a elongated story compared to the others, but it's fun to write. Very fun to write.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yes. Going down the writer's journey, reading, writing, reading, writing. So, yes, we are doing a sort of open topic night right now, or night where you are, Black Knight.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I actually had a question. Snow.
Yes.
Because I've read some of your work, but I haven't dug too much. And seeing that you are really up on the weather, weather forecasting, how much does that actually affect your writing? How much do you pay attention to the weather?
Oh, you mean in the writing or outside?
Yes.
In the writing.
Probably both.
Well, actually, first of all, it's because it's my job. I'm really blessed that. Okay, this is a really weird thing to say, but y'all have heard me say it before because y'all all know, I've got a stroke and everything like that. I'm a special kind of fairy that has special health considerations. I've had that for a long time, so it's always kind of out there. I would not have been a writer, and I would have not had the time had I not gotten sick. I was always out on the fire line. I was always doing the fire weather. I was always outside with I had a little handheld little weather machine that you could actually hold it up and the wind will blow through it with a little steady thing will go inside and it will give you humidities and weather, any kind of updates that it has. It was wonderful. I love being out in the open. I love doing all that stuff. But the weird part is that I've been able to utilize the time I have down right now to actually write about the weather and to continue to do my work through radar and being able to go outside and just look at the sky because I'm like right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of the prairie. So I get to look at it too. So I'm really blessed in the sense that even though my life changed that way, it gave me time to write about what I'd already been living. And I love extreme weather. It's really weird to say this, but anything that's extreme about it. I mean, we actually have been, I know it gets hot where you are, James. I don't know how hot it gets where you are, Black Knight, but for instance, the day before my son was born, it was 118 degrees in Dallas and 3 months of no rain. Well, there's something really weird about being in the middle of a historic weather event, even if it's drought or something like that. We didn't have rain for 3 months. And so it was really kind of crazy to be that hot and that dry in the middle of, Dallas, Texas, where we do have like pear trees and things like that blooming. It's prairie, but it's also wooded. Well, I love those extremes in weather. The part about the freeze of 2021, otherwise known as the Great Texas Freeze Out, because we got down to zero or below zero, and because we stayed there without any heat, without any. I said my son is still traumatized to this day because he always keeps a stack of firewood, always keeps a way to light it, because we had no power and we were below zero for weeks. It was at least a week that we were below zero. And so it's really crazy that we had those. I was still excited about the weather. I would go outside and check it, even though we're right in the middle of this terrible event. But they also are the storms and everything like that. Well, having done that all my life, I was really blessed that I got almost 5 decades of being able to look at the weather and see the weather and be interested in it and learn about it. And I'm not a meteorologist. I'm a weather observer. I'm a Skywarn coordinator for my county.
You're curious about the weather.
Yeah, I'm always curious about it. So it's part of my life. It's how I see the world. It's not something that happens outside. It's something that happens in my life. And so in the story, because so much of it takes place outside, there's a few things, a few points in the story with the element that we're coming toward now. As you're going through the Road series, there's actually a whole book that pretty much takes place inside of a very large abandoned what we call maxi malls or viral villages, where they're indoor arenas, basically, where there are 15-minute cities that are contained within within one place, and actually are completely indoors, can be completely locked down. And they've found ways to go between them, and they're traveling through them. But for the most part, and that's going to be in Hellbilly Highway. But for the most part, Watcher the Dam takes place outside. It takes place out in the elements. It takes place and there's something about being, and of course, you guys know when you're sheltered, how many of y'all are sheltered by the mountains? Black Knight, I know you probably have some mountains and hills and valleys.
Yes. Everything here is mountains. Like this is.
There's a lot of mountains here too.
Yeah.
So there's something very naked about being on the prairie, because you can see for hundreds of miles in either direction if you're in the right place. And on a really clear day, you can see way out there, and so you can see it coming, you can feel it. There's nothing to shelter you from it. So even if you're inside your house, you can feel the wind hit your door. You can actually feel the house shake when it comes up. And so Watch of the Damned as a series is very exposed to the weather. They're constantly in it. So there's always references to it, but it's not just storms. It's not just tornadoes. We do have a tornado that shows up. We have storms where just a cold front comes in. We talk about blue northers, which is not necessarily unique to Texas, but it is it's a Texas thing. We actually tell blue northers when it comes in, usually at the beginning of fall. You'll see it for us is around November, October. The first blue norther will come in and the temperature will drop by 40 degrees within a matter of 10 minutes. Plunge, and usually there's this roaring wind that comes with it, 30 to 50 miles an hour, depending on where you are. Oh, it gets when we say it gets cold, it's like when it drops 40 degrees and 50 outside, you're now getting down around 30, 32 degrees, which is freezing here. And so watching that come in over the prairie, it's not just the tornadoes or the big storms, it's the overall scope of these massive weather systems, these rivers of air that bring in, because we don't think of the atmosphere as being deep, but it's actually a river of air. It's moving, it's constantly flowing. Even if you don't see those clouds, the clouds let us know it's there, but it's always constantly moving. It's like living at the bottom of a river. It's just, you can see through it, you can breathe it. And so watching these things come in is an integral part of the story. I love talking about how they feel, the fact that the weather changes so quickly. It actually makes it rather challenging. Fall in Texas, the story starts, and it's almost a minute by minute telling of this particular event in one man's life. It's almost a minute by minute telling of the Watcher story. And so we have only made it through a whole month, over 9 books. We actually go through this adventure, and they're making their way through this incredibly complicated event. And we get a chance to feel the temperature change, and they're having to wear clothing that we have to wear in Texas, which means if you're wearing something heavy and you're moving through the underbrush, it may get up to 70, 75 degrees in the day. And now you're carrying all this heavy equipment. But by nightfall, you don't know, because you no longer have access to weather data, things like that. You have to be constantly prepared for a blue norther to come in at that time of year. And it actually the story starts off with a blue norther coming in as the Watcher and Roser are working their way to their first destination. And it's very warm, and they actually have to, take off their, outside coats or things that they're wearing on the outside. And he gets overheated, for instance, nearly gets dehydrated. Because I've worked so much outside, especially as a firefighter, I know what these effects are on people. So getting your party together, we actually spend time talking about what they're wearing, how they're dealing with it, because we don't have bottomless bags that we can carry our stuff in, unlike some adventures.
This is not D&D. You don't have like this, the endless what was the bag of holding. As a dungeon master, I always I both hate it and I both love it, because at one point it gets it becomes what was the word, like almost like a Deus Ex Machina, the bag of holding,
Just-
depending on what it is. It's like no, but on the other side, it's super like it's super useful. But
Mhm.
in real life, we don't have that. Well, we don't have these. Like you can even if you have a pack mule, um, the pack mule can't. It can't like. It's not like its back is not made of iron.
Yeah, you can't. You have to watch what you're putting on your horses. You have to be able to ride them too. If you're sharing a ride, which in the case of Watcher and Rose, because she doesn't know how to direct a horse to go through the underbrush, and her legs aren't long enough to reach the stirrups, which is a problem. She actually goes out and rides with the Watcher. Well, you've got extra weight.
Yeah.
What weight are you going to carry? The fact that you have your coats with you. Hold on, let me turn that down. That's my fire radio, actually. The fact that you have your coats with you, or you may have them on because you don't have a place to pack them. So if you've got your bags are full, you may have your cloak that you're carrying because it's fall, maybe hung over your shoulders, but you have to wear it a certain way. You have to fling it back. If you don't, you could end up like some of our Texas settlers did, where they would literally freeze to death within a matter of minutes because a blue norther came through. And even though we may not have snow with it,
Yeah.
once you get down close to freezing, it's very easy to develop hypothermia and die. And so because there's so many stories like that, these survivors, having lived on the prairie long enough or having been out in Texas long enough, know that they have to be prepared for sudden changes. So just the act of them packing their gear, the act of how do you do it with let's say you've got your coat. This is one of my things. Logistics for your guns. When we talk about how you carry your weapons, you have a strap you can carry up to, and if you look at our military personnel, they'll have up to 3 weapons. Usually there'll be a sidearm, a short shotgun of some kind for breaching doors. There's a larger, maybe a rifle that'll be slung over their back. And then there is maybe a small sidearm as well, a 38 special or something like that, that's tucked away in another area. That's about the extent of what you can have. You also have a knife. You may have other things that you're carrying, like a canteen. This stuff gets heavy and it gets hot. How do you deal with it when you're wearing your coat or you're having to take off your coat because suddenly it got too hot and it's in the middle of a battle? How's it going to affect you? So when you're dealing with Texas weather, one of the things I wanted to put in there is the actual struggle that they have in overheating and getting too cold. Their hands get cold. If you don't have the right gear, you can get really messed up. And I think that is probably the biggest thing. Actually, it's the storms, yes, are a big deal. We actually talk about it in one place, a tornado that happens not at right on top of them, but that happens close by and affects the action. And certainly that is a big deal. Rain, torrential rain, because we seem to have, there's very few times that we have just a really nice rain, like a spring rain, and you look out and you go, oh, rain, what a great thing. It happens sometimes in the fall. Usually it's just the sky opens and it dumps a bunch of stuff and there's a bunch of lightning and maybe your house is going to blow away. So everything seems to be at extremes. And so getting these characters prepared for it, bringing them through the story, it becomes part of how they deal with their surroundings and how they fight battles, how they work together as a team. Because if you have a member of your team that isn't outfitted correctly, how are you going to help that person? How are you going to get them where they need to be? Because you don't want to lose them just because they were fiddling with trying to get their hands warm in the middle of a battle. So we use a lot of references to weather effects. We also have a lot of spectacular weather events because I really wanted to play that up because Texas is a character in the book. She is actually a character. We get to travel through Texas. We get to experience Texas and all the flora and fauna. And that includes her temperamental moods. And her temperamental moods, of course, are the weather.
Do you remember the weather and the environment in Lily's story?
Yes, at the beginning.
How their guns failed. They kept failing because they weren't prepared for the environment, and it was like super hot, super humid. Like a lot of dust because it's a jungle environment. A lot of dust, a lot of mud, and everything. And their weapons were not like they were designed to be used in space. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's a different tolerance. Yes, in space it's super cold. But you don't have this relentless humidity and this like wet air. It's just cold.
Yeah. Oh,
But down there it's different. It's completely different.
I have a question. Is it a frictionless environment in your space?
Well, it depends. It depends on where they go, because in some areas you have a much greater density of space dust.
Uh-huh.
You know, like an asteroid field or like somewhere near a moon.
Yeah.
You have dust, and actually, one of the Russian satellites, which was part of the space program, the
Uh-huh.
Soviet space program, was lost during a mission where they attempted to fix it. Like astronauts, cosmonauts from the Mir station, they attempted to fix it, and they failed because they were hit by a dust cloud from the
Oh,
moon,
yeah.
moon dust, and everything was like everything in between the parts, because it was open. It was hit by the dust, and even like I think one of the cosmonauts nearly died because the dust slammed into his suit, and the suit was damaged by the dust. You know how many billions of like tiny particles flying at mad speeds. It's like jumping from let's say the Golden Gate Bridge into the water.
Oh my gosh.
You will fall and you will break your legs, something like that. So it
Wow.
depends. And the difference between the equipment which is designed for space weather and equipment which is designed for the ground pounders, the troops on the ground, it's vastly different. And so if you remember the commander who has been given command of these troops, which are actually space troops, they're wearing space suits, which become useless, and they're too heavy for
Right.
the jungle. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, the part where that was actually brilliant, because we don't think about the fact that we are wearing something that is created for a frictionless, gravity-less environment. Say frictionless most of the time if you're talking about indoor work inside the station or whatever. And then if you're talking about actually going outside the station, they're talking about heavy equipment that's designed to provide some sort of stability and a
And
gravity.
the radiation protection too.
Yeah, so you're
That's why it's heavy.
they so often show it on the ground as it being, just as the same as it is in space.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they failed primarily because they were equipped with the wrong equipment for the weather and the environment. If they were fighting in space, which they were trained to do, they wouldn't have fared so poorly. But down there, like your suit weighs like maybe 3 or 4 times more than it weighs in a 0G. It's much cumbersome, much more cumbersome. You move slow. It has a life support unit, but the life support unit, it's not designed to work like for days on end. It's like space combat. It's fast. It's super fast. You can't fight for days upon days in space. It's different. On the ground, you have like months, trench warfare, bunker warfare, and all kinds of bullshit. But in space, it's like this fast, super fast. Because like every minute in space costs you inexorbitant amount of resources and fuel. You have to be really fast. Like the combat, the longest, and also everything overheats in space. You don't have air. So heat conductivity, you need like heat sinks and stuff. But for the smaller suits, like the space suits, you don't need like extensive heat sinks. And when they went down there in their suits, they would like the forest, the jungle soil. It's muddy soil. There are roots everywhere. There are stones everywhere. It's not a nice flat surface. There is constant rain. Everything is wet. There are bugs. Like, and when your life support is like, oh yes, I have like a AC. My armor suit has an AC. And what happens when the power is like down? You'll have to open the helmet because you're cooking alive. This is metal. That metal gets hotter and hotter and wetter and wetter. And while you're stomping across the jungle, tripping in every piece of root, you have also vegetation everywhere. Well, by the way, didn't you have like swamps in Texas?
Oh yeah, yes. We actually.
What were the vines called? Like the water vines?
Well, you have water hyacinth, which grows up a lot. That's actually been introduced. You also have greenbrier. One of our big ones is greenbrier. Kudzu, which is the big, heavy vines. In fact, there's a big section coming up on East Texas. That's East Texas, Caddo Lake, that area where the French Louisiana culture spills over into Texas, and it's actually what they call around here Cajun culture, which is now we're allowed to say that. Used to be French Arcadian, but so we have that culture there, and it's very lush greenery, very wet, very wooded, cypress trees, heavy vines, a lot of grapevine, a lot of, like I said, greenbrier, which is absolutely beastly because it has very thorny, very thick, very tangled. Can actually create curtains that you have to hack your way through to get to. Kudzu, which you can actually eat, so we shouldn't like fuss at it so much. You can actually use it as a food. But it's still very, very grows over everything. And so with that kind of environment, yes, the swamps, when we go through the East Texas part of the story, as they go down towards towards what they call the refuge, which is in Caballero del Camino, we actually talk about the swamps and the liquefaction of sand and mud, which quicksand.
Yes.
So saying, you don't have to worry about quicksand. It's a real thing if you're living in those environments, especially if you have it to where the mud gets to a point where it looks like it's crusted on top. You can step right through it and down you go.
And then you're doomed.
Yeah, and it really dragged into it. So getting things and animals out of those mires and those mucks are really hard. I love the swamps of East Texas. Actually, if you call them a wetland environment, then it's nice. It sounds better because I love birding. I love going. I'm a avid when I can actually see, because my vision isn't the same as it was before, of course, but when I'm able, I love to go looking at the birds, and the wetlands are always covered in different wildlife and different birds and things like that. So that's where we have a lot of our story actually takes place in Caballero del Camino, is in that eastern swampland type, and there's also a different type, not swamp necessarily, it's called a canebrake. And I don't know if you have an equivalent in Europe, in the Americas, especially in the South and in the eastern parts of Texas. We had very large areas called canebrakes, which were covered in a type of grass that looks like bamboo, but it's not bamboo. But it's very tall. It would be sometimes up to 10 to 15
something
feet.
like reeds, right?
Yeah, they're very large, though. It's big around.
Yeah, we have them. Yeah. Like especially along the delta of the river Danube. We have these like low wetlands, and they are a protected animal preserve because the storks go and nest there. The storks and the what were these like other the doves also, and a few other like protected birds, like lots of birds. They go there, and when they migrate, it's their like area where they make babies.
Oh, okay.
Aviary, the breeding palace.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
There you go.
But yeah. So when we talked about weather and gear, and the thing is that you can't. If you make a mistake with your stuff, or you pick up a weapon which is like you need a weapon, but you pick up something that is either too cumbersome, or
Yeah.
it like the weather is too bad for it and the environment is too bad for it. For example, the stories about like the first version of the M16 rifle
Uh-huh.
in Vietnam, which was like the jungle weather totally destroyed it, and it was like misfiring and killing people left and right until they fixed it. I was inspired partially from this, and when I deployed them, I kind of used the hubris of this armchair commander, this noble, which was also inbred. And he was like,
Yeah.
yes, it says in this book says like you have to deploy some troops there and they'll do the job. Like, but what kind of troops? I don't care. I didn't progress past like chapter 2. It's like, yes, put the troops on the ground. Part 2, what is part 2? Well, command the troops so the troops can win. And
Yeah.
part 3 is like profit, victory.
There you go.
So he just, yes, I'll just find like hire some commander, and I'll tell him to win for me, and I'll reap all the benefits. And the issue is that you're trying to screw something, like screw a bolt, and you
Yeah.
don't have a screwdriver. Instead, you have like let's say a plastic spoon or something. It's like it's not going to work. You will not be able to screw the screw. It's not going to work. And it's not just the weather. It's not just the humidity. It's the wildlife
Mhm.
and the plants. Yes, we talked about like the terrain features, like the rocks and the valleys and let's say quicksand, but not in all jungles. Let's say, for example, you have quicksand, like you have in some of them,
Yeah.
but in some you have swamps mixed in with the jungles. Like Karoa wasn't one of them. They did not have swamps for another reason, because of the Mampa trees, but they have these like these plants, these extra plants, and the vines everywhere. And so imagine that you're wearing a suit which is perfect for space. It
Mhm.
has an excellent life support system. It will last you a couple of hours, and during the entire fight, you'll be comfortable. You're not going to freeze your ass off. You have a nice energy weapon. It works perfectly in space. Doesn't like get clogged in with mud or dust or whatever. And it's fine. But down there, suddenly this nice suit with this AC, basically this AC, it becomes your coffin. You're walking in a coffin.
Yeah.
You're tripping everywhere. You're falling everywhere. You have to exert extra energy to move in it. Let alone deal with the terrain. Let alone trip over like and then get up after like stepping on in a hole or something in between the roots of the trees, because in most cases you see just like some plants, some like let's say grass, tall grass or something, some shrubbery. You don't see the root, and you just step on it, you twist your leg or something, you trip, you fall, and then you have to get up, and then again and again and again.
Hmm.
Your energy is out. You have to open your helmet, your face plate, because you're suffocating inside your hot, really hot metal coffin.
Hmm.
And then the bugs come in, and the bugs eat your face.
Ouch.
Just the mosquitoes. I don't know if you watched. There was this reality show, Naked and Afraid.
I
Yeah.
heard of it.
James, I don't know if you watched it. I think we
I've
talked
heard
about
of it before.
Yeah. They get like two people, a man and a woman, who are supposedly skilled in survival, and they take their pants, their shirts, their shoes, their everything, and they drop them somewhere to survive. And they have one item with them. They're butt naked.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Of course, this is censored. Like, you have censoring.
Hold on just a
But-
second. I have to hop out for just a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
But the thing is that one of the most horrible things that a lot of people kind of like forget about it, because in the cities you have special services, and they spray against bugs. You don't see
Yeah.
swarms of mosquitoes everywhere, which if you go in the forest, you'll fucking get eaten by the mosquitoes. I have no idea how it is in the desert. In the desert, probably you have different types of flying bugs. How is it, James?
I mean, we got some mosquitoes down here. There's
Horse flies, maybe?
I don't know. We don't get there's some, I guess, but not often. That's
Ah.
more like during the really hot days.
Ah.
Certain locations,
Really?
maybe.
Do y'all
Well, you
have
get
No horse flies?
you get large flies, but
Yeah, horse flies. Yeah, huge flies. The big flies.
yeah,
well,
yeah,
they
but it's
So-
not too common.
Yeah. So basically, what I know, and from my own like limited experience, is that when you go into the forest, it's like you're a walking buffet, like, for the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are eating you. And this was like a mountainous forest that I went to. Imagine a jungle. Let's say Amazonian jungle levels of mosquitoes. Oh boy, you're fucked. You're going to be
Yeah.
eaten alive like 5 times faster.
Mhm.
5 times, maybe 6 times faster. And when you close the faceplate, when you close the helmet, well, the mosquitoes, they are already inside your suit,
Ah,
and you're super hot, like you're melting pretty much. You're boiling in your own juices, and that makes you even yummier for the mosquitoes. Like, the more you sweat, the more you scratch yourself and everything, the yummier you get for the mosquitoes.
uh-huh.
So
I
yeah,
can definitely see that,
basically they were defeated by the simple decision of that commander, that lord, who did not care. It said like, oh, it writes infantry next to the name of the unit. Okay, I don't care. I'll just send them there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, underestimating the
Oh yeah,
natural
it happens.
environment.
It happens now. It keeps happening now. Like, it's not just like this is a tale since like humans had armies since forever.
Uh-huh. Yes, yeah, I definitely remember like World War One stories of like 40% of an army freezing to death in the cold,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. So
Or
It
the
definitely
Napoleonic Wars, when Napoleon went to Russia,
yeah,
they froze to death, pretty much. They froze
happens a
to death.
lot. You know, people underestimate the frost, underestimate certain territories that get particularly cold.
People underestimate jungle. The
Yeah.
jungle. How can, like, come on? This is the jungle itself. Like when you're going to fight a war, you're
Yeah.
not fighting just the enemy. You're fighting the environment too.
Mhm.
So you're, in effect, you're fighting two wars. And war number three is supply. War number three is supply. This is the third war.
We got a moral officer Grant saying, along the river, mosquito swarms are deadly. We were
Yep.
taught at a very young age if you go to the river, smear mud all over so they can't bite. We also have no CMs. They bite worse than a red ant. All right.
What is the CM?
No CMs? I don't know. That might be like a voice to text issue, possibly. Not
Hmm.
sure what the CM is, but
Maybe something like a horsefly, maybe, or
possibly. Possibly.
or like a dragonfly, maybe. I don't know.
I
Um,
would I would be surprised. Where I come from, we have some dragonflies in some areas, the more rural locations, and they don't really bite. At least from my experience,
yeah,
I never said, "Oh, it's gonna bite me." Nah, it's like, oh,
they just fly around and say hello. Hmm.
yeah, then they go do something else. That's sort of my experience with dragonflies. Maybe
Yeah,
it's different with other folks.
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't remember like dragonflies biting me. Um, as a kid, I went to uh, an one spot which was like really secluded lake spot.
okay.
Uh, so we were camping there, and the dragonflies were absolutely magnificent. They basically, well, they were more interested in your food than you, and they would just like ignore us. Sometimes they would land on your hands, on your legs.
Uh,
If you keep still, they would land on you, and they when you move, they just fly away. They did nothing.
yeah, very much so. That's my experience with a dragonfly. But I am interested in like different types of flying creatures where people live because down here we also have the hummingbird. I don't know if you have
Ooh,
hummingbirds where you live.
yeah, I've seen hummingbirds in the zoo.
Oh,
There was like an aviary in the zoo where I went to that zoo,
yeah.
and I saw hummingbirds. Like, and I've never seen them. They're like tiny.
Yes, we
There
have
are
them here.
insects bigger than them.
They're very small. There was this one time, it was probably like just one of those memories that sticks with you when I was living in another town. We had this huge mango tree in the front yard, very old tree.
Ah,
And a mango tree has like these long vine like branches that hang down. And on one of the vine like branches was resting a small little nest with an egg. And little did we know it was actually a hummingbird egg. But we figured as much because we saw a little hummingbird in the area flying around constantly because we had a lot of flowers. Where there are flowers, you're going to find the hummingbird. So one day I went out and I noticed the nest wasn't there anymore. It was gone. Like something knocked it over, and I thought, oh, something happened to the little egg because you're used to seeing it. You go outside, it's right there because the mango tree is right there. But then when I was looking for the nest or seeing what had happened, a little baby hummingbird flew by for a quick second and then flew away. So I believe that little hummingbird actually just was birthed from that nest.
Hmm.
live its life. One of those small bits of nature we get to witness and be a part of. That's very inspirational. You take things like that with you. You don't know
That's
who
the
inspired.
miracle of it's a miracle of nature. And
Yes.
I probably told you that story about the crow, that
Uh-huh.
I fed. I took it was like nearly frozen to death.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I took it to the guard tower and I warmed it near the stove, and fed him like half candy bar,
Yeah.
and then when the storm was over, I let it go, and he flew away. And months later, when I was standing guard, the same crow came. Uh, he bumped my boot, and like looked at me, and then flew away, and then came back like some minutes later, and it was carrying a candy bar, like a
Ah,
brand new candy bar. It stole someone's candy bar. But like these crows and ravens are amazingly smart.
very smart indeed. Very smart animal.
And they remember, and they teach their flock. Well, it's not called a flock. It's like a murder.
A
Yeah,
murder of crows.
murder
Yeah.
of crows. Yeah. So they teach them about the good people and the bad people. And
Yeah.
so people who do not attack them or like give them food or help them, let's say, survive, they help them back. Like there are farmers. I watched a couple of stories about farmers who befriended like a murder of crows, fed them, built them like a chicken pen for them to stay in the winter, like heated, and they fed them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the summer, when the hawks attack their chickens, the crows fight the hawks.
There you go.
You get
Protect chickens.
you get mercenary crows.
That's funny.
Oh, boy, that's insane. Yeah,
I
but
believe it though.
that's real. That's real. I mean, I recently saw something similar in on YouTube about a farmer who was doing exactly the same, and he probably saw the same thing that I saw back in the day. It's like it was a much older um, program. It's like science, nature program, and stuff,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Wait a minute, I'll do the same," and he did, and it worked. Yeah, that's the thing.
Right? Provide for the intelligent creatures, man. They'll provide for you. They want to keep that ecosystem the same.
Yeah, but as cool as they are, I still want my uplifted hamsters and
Right.
bunnies.
There you go.
Yeah,
Uplifted hamsters and bunnies would be very fun.
I don't know what one guy who I have no idea if you remember him from the Gilded. He's a friend. He's also a fan of horror, and he and I had long chats about various horror ideas
Uh-huh.
and characters, and how one of the favorite things is what would this character do in from this horror like franchise, let's say, who would fare better against, let's say, the alien from Aliens versus Predator, or who would survive Freddy or Jason, or what was that small toy?
Chucky.
Chucky, yeah. And this and that. It's like, yeah, some of the movies, like the more obscure ones, I wasn't able to watch, but like the more mainstream horror movies I watched. And so we were like talking about this and that, and because he read a lot of my stuff, he knows a lot about the universe, and he was like, well, I don't think someone said something about the Alien versus Predator franchise, and someone said, yeah, what asked me and others who knew how would, let's say, the uplifted bunnies or the hamsters, God forbid, the hamsters would fare, how well would they fare in Alien versus Predator. And he was like, no, you don't want the hamsters there. They'll hunt down the aliens and the predators. Like, they'll kill them. They'll die. Of course they'll die.
Boy.
They're not immortal, but they're obsessed with killing monsters. They're so obsessed, they just want to count them dead, and they will find a way. And when they find a way, they will modify it and make it better, so they could kill all of them, and they'll just like hunt them down to extinction.
That's funny. Snow is rejoining us here. Sure, she was
Sorry.
busy with stuff.
We had a fire. I
Oh boy.
had to go give them a weather report, so I had to go do that.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Fun.
a grass fire.
Higher.
I
Little
know.
grass fire somewhere out there in the plains.
So
You
what I
know,
miss? What I
the
miss?
fun-
was,
Well, we messed around. We talked about crows and how some like recently I watched some farmer train himself a mercenary murder of crows to protect his chickens from hawks.
oh my goodness!
Yeah, he fed them. I think he also gave him like a shelter or something, and probably he was inspired from an older science documentary movie where another farmer was doing an experiment. He was a scientist, and he made an experiment. He built a special like chicken. What was the word for the house for the chickens? My brain froze.
It's a chicken.
coop.
Yeah, cool. Like, and he built that for the crows. He sheltered them. He gave them food, and later when hawks and other birds tried to attack his chickens, the crows protected them.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so it's not like, and this new guy, I recently watched him on YouTube, how he did something similar, and the crows actually fought with the hawks, and they fucked them up, because yes, the hawk is like the hawk is like a Ferrari, but the crows are relentless, and they're smart. They're very smart.
They are.
Amazing animals, really.
And then I mentioned something, because we were talking about horror movies. I mentioned something that a friend of mine, when we were asked what would happen if the uplifted bunnies and hamsters from Star Shutter are transplanted to the Alien versus Predator universe, what would happen to the aliens and the predators? and he was like, yeah, they're screwed. Like they're totally doomed. The hamsters will find a way, and they will exterminate all the aliens and all the predators.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they have. I mean, they have this custom to count uh, the dead baddies, and they like killing monsters. They see this as part of their hamster burden, the great hamster burden of the hamster species. So I totally see them doing that.
Yeah. I mean, those are the fun conversations to have, you know. What happens when these creatures or entities go into that world? This and that, the lovely crossovers that get the creative juices flowing.
What's your favorite crossover, by the way?
My favorite crossover.
You must have. I mean, you've got access to these old comic books and stuff, and these old pulp anthologies.
I
So
guess, yeah. I'm not sure if I have a favorite crossover, but one that kind of sticks out to me is the Shadow crossing over with Doc Savage. I always thought was pretty fun because they're both very powerful sort of forces. For anybody who doesn't know, Doc Savage is essentially Superman before Superman, and the Shadow was Batman before Batman. And in the pulps, I believe they had at least one good crossover that I remember being quite exciting. But overall, I'm not the crossover guy. Because people these days, they always have that conversation of who would win, and I
Yeah.
would point out, well, it depends which universe you're in, because truthfully speaking, it's not just a character, but it's often an entire intellectual property. And whoever's universe you're in will dictate who's going to win. I always use this analogy, and I may have used it once on this program before, but I believe if the Predator was in the Kevin McAllister universe, he would not be able to kill Kevin McAllister. Because the
Ooh.
universe would just continuously self-correct. He cannot be defeated in that universe. It's a comedy universe.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Probably that old man with the shovel will go and smack the predator and smack it unconscious, and then the cops will cuff him and drive him away in the patrol cruiser because it's like, and then you will find out that it's not actually a predator, it's actually a criminal in a suit.
There you go.
Because this fits the
That's
universe.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how I always kind of chalk those down. Those are conversations people can really get wrapped up in.
Well, yeah, because it's all you're comparing both worlds, and the most successful crossovers, of course, already have this huge established fan base, and that there's never a you don't have to usually build up your. We have people that actually in the indie comics will go and do a crossover in their own world, but the most successful ones, you already have this big fan bases that are already established. They already want to know more and more about the characters, and when you have this crossover, suddenly they get really excited. My favorite, of course, is World's Finest, Batman and Superman. I actually own number one. Thank you very much. As the comic itself, and it was great. I believe it's 1997. I think is when World's Finest comes out, and I love it. It just as a written comic and also as a 3-parter comic series or a cartoon. It worked out really well. So for me, and I know that sounds really pedestrian, it's like Batman, Superman. I don't care. It was well written. It worked out great. Got an Emmy. So to me, that was one of my favorites because just at the time, the fact that they decided to do that and to go with it certainly was exciting. And of course, I'm actually a Batman, Superman fan, old school type. So for me, it was an easy choice to say, World's Finest is my favorite, probably.
There you go. All inspiring, I'm sure.
Yep, yep, pretty much. Hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. I know. Recently, I've talking earlier. I've been reading novelizations of movies,
Oh,
and I
really?
got two of them based off of. It's this publisher I found that produces basically schlocky horror stuff and embraces it. One of them is a movie adaptation of the horror movie In the Mouth of Madness, which I've been digging into, and it's really giving me confidence in my own writing, seeing that this got published. And then another one I can't wait to dig into soon is actually a novelization from the original screenplay of the movie Tremors, which is one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
horror movies. So that's going to be fun. I'll be digging into
Nice.
that probably next month or later this month when I'm done with the other book. Really digging into books lately, and I wanted something fresh, wanted something not too original, but something just new to my palate. And that was one that just sort of stuck out to me. So picking it up and giving it a read. What have you guys been reading lately? What you guys consuming media?
Well, I read a few short stories on Substack, um, but I've not completed them yet. So I'll just reserve my right to comment on a later date.
Yeah.
But one, I think, yeah, I think I wrote, I read the first chapter, and there is no second chapter if I remember correctly. It's a collab um, posted on McKenna's page. It's about airships, uh, and it's a steam magic punk story with ancient magics and curses, and it's. I hope they kind of complete it. So yeah, it was really interesting. I love this stuff.
You know, that's one thing that a lot of people forgotten during the pulp era. There was a lot of niche subgenres of pulp that had short-lived existences,
Oh,
and
yeah.
one of them was actually airship stories. I have
Oh,
a
I love
pulp book behind me with five uh, airship stories, also known as Zeppelin tales, as well.
that
Mm,
is so cool.
yes,
Yeah, that's an old one that so,
that's
it had a
nice.
little pocket of life before it fell out of existence, but they're old pulp magazines that just publish Zeppelin tales or airship stories and plane combat stories, so those are always really fun.
Zeppelins and old biplanes
Yeah. Yeah.
zooming across the
So
sky.
here's one that
That's why. That's why I loved as a young teen. I loved Tailspin.
oh, I
Oh
love
yeah.
Elspeth.
Tailspin was amazing. Probably mostly for me, probably because of the aircraft aspect of it.
They actually did a great job on Tailspin. I'm not lying to you. I was actually an adult when I watched this. I was in my 30s. Y'all are such babies. But anyhow, they did a great job with the characterizations. Actually, it was very weird because the fact that they went with Baloo and, of course, Rebecca as the bear. And at first, I was like kind of skeptical because like my daughter was watching it at the same time, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to work or not. They did a fantastic job. They actually did a great job. There's an arc within the arc. There's story within the story about their character development and everything. Of course, that little budding romance thing, but also the air travel, that part about island hopping from place to place, all of that. A lot like Wings. Wings was also kind of popular, I think, about that same time. And those kind of stories where we talk about travel, that one actually captured it. And there's one that's actually almost completely disappeared, and it's about car travel across the country, where you just take a car. And although we have stories about people going on road trips, the idea that you could get in a car and just ride somewhere. I have a story of actually a niche subgenre called the Auto Boys, where they would be boys who would manage to find a car, and they would go from place to place. This is like 1912, where they are able to get a car, crank it up like a regular, like an old fashioned car. And four boys that are maybe like 10 to 15 years old go just driving off, just drive off and go camping across America. And they get bogged down in the sand and the mud and everything else. And they're going to all these small towns. And of course, they will come across bandits, because they're going to. And because all of these fun things that happen, there was a genre of that particular, of all of the new types of travel that started in the early 1900s. And the pulps match this. And this actually it's actually a hardback book. I'll have to get a photo of it, because it's just beautiful. It's got a picture, sort of an embossed, inked picture into the hard to a hardback with a cloth cover, and it's these boys with their goggles on, because you don't have a roof on the vehicle. It's just wide open, and they've got their big coats on and these hats that they're wearing, because they're going down to drive this amazing new vehicle through the wilderness, not even on a road. It's a wilderness, basically, of old rutted pathways that aren't paved yet. Nothing's like that. And so it's amazing to read it, and to see that these genres that you talk about, the disappearing genres, usually celebrate something that's so brand new and so different. And we really forget how extraordinary that period of time was, because all of the things that changed, we went from horse and buggy to literally being able to fly within a matter of about 10 years. It's extraordinary. It really is.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of turning of the age events that just occurs, and pop culture sort of reacts. So you're gonna say something, Black Knight?
I just remembered the when I was talking about Tailspin, I just remembered that all detail about the aircraft, like the plane that Blue was using, that's called Sea Duck. It was a real American plane, like a float plane, seaplane.
Yeah.
It's called Sea Duck, and I think they chose it was because you have the ducks. They have Donald Duck and all kind of all sorts of ducks. So that fits, and the nose of the plane is like the beak of the duck almost. If you remember it from the show, it's like all painted all yellow with red on the fins and the floats on the wings. That's and I always thought it was it couldn't be a real plane, because the pirates fly this almost comic like representations of World War One triplanes with super short stubby wings with lots of guns and stuff. And I think that it couldn't be a real plane, but then I discovered it was a real plane.
Yeah, people come up with interesting stuff.
They do.
Things that go boom.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy technology and sort of, I guess you'd say, experimental stuff thought up of, and it kind of reminds me of this story about Nikolai Tesla. One of his final real big inventions that unfortunately didn't go through for him was it was actually the radio. He was on the verge of being the inventor of the radio.
Oh yeah.
He was creating his own radio tower. But then he basically ran out of funds, or his financiers backed away from it, and then it wouldn't be till a couple extra years before we ended up getting the radio. So that's an interesting twist of history, and a strange tale of history as well. That one. So I always sort of try to hunt those down and pull from them as well, the tales of history. But we're sort of closing in on the half hour mark here. So why don't we go ahead and do some closeouts here? And you guys go ahead and share some final thoughts you want to share and where people can find you.
Which one of us goes first, y'all?
Yeah, let's go with you, Black Knight. Start with Black Knight.
Oh, me. Well, I, I was having lots of fun thinking about different stuff, and of course, we kind of like ranted a bit, mostly myself, and
Yeah.
a little bit of rant about our work, our stories is always a good thing, I say. But I may, I don't know. I don't know if you had any time to read the most horror like story that I currently have on Substack, which is full on novella, the Province of Terrence 2, like the second book. Anyone who likes this old school style of pulpy horror with a bit of fantasy and some magical ancient Egypt and ancient spacecraft, derelict spaceships in the mix. They will love this novella, and as a like the added bonus is that everything was guided by the readers' votes. They
All
pretty much voted for the direction of the next chapter. So it is by me for the readers and by the readers for everyone else, like in the future. As for where you can find me, obviously on Substack, which would be Substack, theblackknightsubstack.com. And I cannot stress it enough is that if you actually wish to support any of us, you would do great to buy one of the books that we published. So go to Amazon. For me, you can find all of my Star Shelter books, all the books published of the Star Shelter series there, including the story collections, of which the latest is The Blood of Tyrants, and of course, fantasy. If you like fantasy, go to Amazon and find Lord of Bones and read it.
Yes.
There you go. All right. Snow, how about you?
First of all, I love you, and you most of all over there. I love you. And thank you guys for coming here so much. Just makes my heart so warm. You find me at watcherthedam.com or at flow.page/rhsnow. That's flow.page/rhsnow. Or on X, where you can find me at watcherdamned. And I have, of course, a long series. I've actually got an epic 9-book series. It will be 12. We're waiting on that last edit right now as we come out to send it off to get formatted after I illustrate it. And the 9th book will be out. And then I am sailing, absolutely flying into the final series. The book, it will be 12 books long. And so we have the last 3 books coming up. I'm writing them all in one great big chunk and hope to have it out by next year. So the ending of this series is coming up. And then we will start actually putting it out there as an actual book. And so I'll actually start doing a thing called marketing at that point, because that's been on everything this week. People talking about George R.R. Martin and how it really crippled for a lot of people the epic fantasy, epic science fiction series that people had been writing. And so, of course, when I started doing this, I was actually inspired by Game of Thrones, create a Game of Thrones level story. So we do have that. We have factions, we have fighting, we have court intrigue, we have romance, we have suspense, action, and war, of course. So if you love those things, if you love having a complex story that you want to wrap your head around, much like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, tune in and go take a look at Watcher of the Damned, my sci-fi Western saga. And you can find it at watcherofthedamned.com.
There you go. That is awesome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We are out of here. And see you on